Early in the day, an unexpected movement began to take shape behind the scenes at Newcastle, something that didn't come from loose rumors or exaggerated social media chatter. It felt different, quieter, more calculated, almost as if the club were about to make a decisive move on the board without anyone noticing straight away. Between discreet conversations, sharp glances and signs only the most attentive could catch, it became clear that something big was approaching, something capable of shifting not only the plans for the season but the competitive future of the Magpies. As footsteps echoed around the stadium, quiet exchanges began to take shape among supporters and pundits. Many spoke about the team's preparation, while others tried to guess the real reason behind this unusual murmur. It was as though Newcastle were preparing to move in an unexpected way, revealing an important piece of a puzzle that had been slowly assembled over recent weeks. And since you're already here following this atmosphere, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming. British newspapers started releasing small pieces of information, always incomplete, always mysterious. Supporters, meanwhile, tried to connect the loose ends, wondering whether this mystery was linked to the Champions League transfers or even internal changes at the club. It was hard to know for sure, but what could already be felt was that Newcastle weren't simply preparing for another match. Something larger was being carefully put into motion. After all, it isn't common to see an entire environment adjust itself like this ahead of a big game. The director's movements, the players' posture, the subtle comments from analysts. Everything seemed to suggest a revelation was on the way, one that would involve not only the club's current moment, but also its future on the European stage. Perhaps this is why supporters were so tuned in to every detail, so attentive to what might suddenly emerge. The feeling was one of complete anticipation. In the midst of intense preparation for the clash against none other than Real Madrid, the news breaks that changes everything. Newcastle are eyeing one of the most talked about youngsters in Europe, Dutch talent Kees Smit, a gem from AZ Alkmaar according to the Daily Mail. This move opens a new chapter not only for targeting a future signing, but for the boldness of competing for such a promising name alongside some of the continent's giants. Before diving into details about the player, it's worth reinforcing, this strategy from Newcastle didn't come out of nowhere. The club had already been signaling its intention to strengthen its base of young talent, seeking players capable of developing within a long-term project. And this interest in Smit reflects exactly that ambition. If you enjoy following these market battles, subscribe to the channel to stay on top of every development. Kees Smit is one of those players who don't appear often. At just 19, he already carries heavy labels such as prospect, prodigy, and even future Dutch national team starter. His name began gaining international attention after he scored from the halfway line against Barcelona in the UEFA Youth League in 2023. The moment, which quickly went viral, was only the beginning of a rise that continued growing in the following months. He reinforced his reputation in the Under-19 European Championship, where he finished as top scorer and was voted player of the tournament, something that immediately set off alarms among several clubs across the continent. It's important to note that, so far, these details have been confirmed by outlets such as the Daily Mail and Sky Sports, reinforcing the credibility of the movement surrounding the youngster. One important detail draws even more attention. Smit has already surpassed 50 appearances for AZ Alkmaar, a rare number for someone so young. He has not only played in the domestic league, but also in European competitions, collecting praise from analysts and coaches. Among them is Ronald Koeman, manager of the Netherlands national team, who compared Smit's playing style to that of Pedri, the Barcelona star. Koeman said that Smit possesses a unique reading of the game, able to react under pressure, position himself intelligently and carry the ball through tight spaces, skills usually seen in much more experienced players. According to him, this combination of attributes is exactly what big clubs look for, which is why competition for the young midfielder is expected to intensify over the coming months. Still, the battle for the player is real. According to the Daily Mail, clubs like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund are monitoring his progress closely. The curious detail is that many believe Smit might prefer a club offering immediate minutes and real development opportunities, something that puts Newcastle in a competitive position, as giants rarely guarantee such priority. The presence of Ross Wilson as Newcastle's new sporting director strengthens this scenario even further. He has been implementing an aggressive and intelligent approach to scouting young talent, seeking players capable of delivering medium and long-term value. Smit fits perfectly into this model. The club understands its midfield needs reinforcement, especially with Joe Linton far from peak form and Joe Willock struggling with recurring injuries. Another delicate issue involves Sandro Tonali, who still faces uncertainties about his future and remains a question mark in the squad's long-term planning. These situations make signing a young, talented midfielder an absolute priority for 2025. Even Crystal Palace, who faced Smit in the UEFA Europa Conference League, have shown interest. Sky Sports News have also confirmed that AZ Alkmaar are unlikely to block a significant offer but intend to break their transfer fee record, currently standing at £21.8 million, the amount Milan paid for Tejani. And the twist is that Barcelona may have a sentimental advantage, as Smit is a declared fan of the Catalan side. In a recent interview, the player addressed Koeman's praise and the comparisons to Pedri and De Bruyne. Smit admitted he wasn't expecting such references but took them as motivation to keep improving. He also mentioned his affection for Barcelona, saying he watches almost all their matches. His honesty drew attention, though it doesn't rule out a move abroad. For now, he remains focused on AZ Alkmaar's season, but the sense of inevitability surrounding his future continues to grow. Each week brings new rumors, new analyses, and new scouts tracking his development. This makes the race particularly intense, as any move could become decisive in the coming months. And of course, if you want to follow everything, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss a single detail.